Hi guys, thank you for joining me on You Create Your Own Reality 24/7. Today we're not going to really dive into a modality. We're just going to talk about being successful. I hope you went to my main station, You Create Your Own Reality, hosted by me, Rose Williams. That's the way it'll be listed. And I talked about being halfway through the year. But you can get that content on that station. But today we're going to be talking about being successful. Some people think when you're successful, you have to be rich and famous. That's a part of it. But it's certain characteristics that you need to have to be successful. You know, you can be successful doing all kinds of things. I mean, we have successful train robbers, Bonnie and Clyde. They were successful, I guess, at robbing banks. But you don't want to be a success that way. And you have Donald Trump. He's successful, you know, when it comes to real estate. He's very successful. But we're talking about being successful. But I think the most successful person yet, many believe he was poor. He was not. He was very rich. And that was Jesus of Nazareth. He wore royal garments. He humbled himself. That's what the word says. He humbled himself. But he was one of the greatest men that ever lived. And I think if you remember that, that will keep you humble. You won't have to worry about putting yourself on a soapbox. I think that's one of the important things you should remember. Okay? You should humble yourself when you're talking about one of the greatest masters of all, which is Jesus. But he was a very successful man. He may not be successful to your ways, but to my ways he is. I'll put it that way. But anyway, you know, I'm a student of knowing what you're talking about. And it says success. What is a success? Okay, a success is liberty to command coupled with a clear conscience and a loving heart. That's one virtue. It says the art of success is to command a person with the love without the person knowing it. Success is the accomplishments. The accomplishments are the aim or the purpose. Like you might say, oh, you know, I want to make this business a success. Or a singer might say, oh, I want this album to be a success. And they work hard. They go out on the road and they work hard and they go and they promote the album. Or I could do the same thing with this YouTube channel. I can say, well, I want this to be a success. And I go and, you know, I talk about different principles or whatever. I tell my friends, hey, I got a channel. I want you to support me. You know, you go the extra mile. But being a success, to me, is taking your time, thinking about what you're doing, and aiming for top quality work. The same as I do with my other job, because I work with patients. I don't do what everybody else do. You know, I have a lot of other co-workers that might do. I'll give you an example. Like, everybody don't bathe people a certain way. Now me, I'll start, you know, I might warm the water, make sure the water's warm, put the soap in, and I might offer them the towel and say, hey, you want to wash your face, da 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 da. They may not be able to, so I might wash their face, and then I go down and I get to their private area, I'm going to change the water. Well, some of my co-workers don't do that, okay? I might want to soak the person's foot. Well, some of my co-workers, you know, they don't do that. Not that they don't want to. Sometimes they may not have the time to do it. But, again, that is what success to me is. Doing things in the right order, at the right time, having top quality work. Okay? Now, you can try to take somebody under your wing and say, okay, well, we're going to do this, this, this. Okay? And they see you working and you trying to do, you know, you trying to do something, and they still don't do nothing. Well, they're not going to be a success the way I see it, because they're not doing anything to get to the next level where they need to get to for success to come to them. Now, there was a story that I heard, and you know, if you've been listening to me any amount of time, I like to tell stories because it brings things home in a nutshell. There was this man that I knew, and there was a program back in the 70s called CETA. And CETA was the Comprehensive Education Training Act. That's what CETA stood for. And it was an agency set up by the federal government to help individuals, low-income people, minorities, get jobs. Because back during that time, it would be hard for a minority to get a job in certain places. So they implored CETA to come in and, get these people into work. So this guy was a coordinator. And they would have so many, like they might have 60 jobs, but maybe 40 of them had to be for minorities and African Americans. Anyway, people of lower stature at that time. And his job was to go and get these people. So he would go to the unemployment office and get these people. And for the first week, they'd go to class. And they would have to be in class like 8 o'clock in the morning. And they would stay there from 8 until, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So he would go to, he'd have them do the paperwork. Half of them couldn't read, but anyway, he'd do the paperwork for them. Then he'll pack them a lunch. He'll tell them, well, you ain't got to worry about nothing. All you got to do is be ready when I come to your house. Be ready. All of the other guys would be ready except for one particular individual. He'd go to the house. He said the man was in the bed. And he was like, look, man, you got to get up. You got to wake up. You got to go and get on the job. He said, why is it that you can't seem to get up and be with it? He said, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do better tomorrow. So the same thing. It just went on and on and on and on. So finally, like the next to the week, the ending, he went to his house. He said, come on, man, you got to come on and get with it now. You want this job? He said, I do want it. Well, he wanted the job, but he didn't want to do everything that was required of him to keep the job, to have the principles and the success it took to keep the job. So you have a lot of people like that on these jobs. And not only on jobs, it's just in life. You meet people, they might gravitate toward you for a reason. Because they see that you're about business, they see you about trying to do different things, and they go, well, I'm in it for the ride. And that's what they do. They ride off of you till the next best thing come along. And you have to be kind of worthy of those people too when you see them. Spoon feed them, but after a time, you're going to have to say, hey, get off. Get off the bus. Get off. Because we're all here for a reason. We all have to strive for success. If you want success, you have to strive for it. You have to put in the work, just like the modality that I told you about. You have to put in the work if you want to reap the rewards. Okay? Now, I've been telling you all to get a notebook. Doesn't cost anything, a 99-cent notebook. I've been telling you all to commit the laws of mind. I've been telling you all to do this, okay? And if you've been doing this, you should have some type of result coming your way. You should have. So certain things should be happening. Something should be happening. If you go to my main channel, I told you about what happened to me. And I'm still doing my contemplating. And I'm working on other projects. And I'm going to get to where I need to get to. And I want you to get to where you need to get to too. Because it was Zig Ziglar that said, if you help one, you help yourself. Just help one person, you help yourself. It's not just about me. It's about you. I want you to be successful. I want you to be at the top. Okay? So study these principles that I'm telling you about. Study them. Study them carefully. All right? Put them to mind. Now, the next thing I'm going to teach you, we talked about visualization, but I want to teach you a little bit about the power of words. And I know some of you probably already know about the power of words. So, if I say faith, hope, and love, faith, hope, and love, faith, hope, and love, faith, hope, and love. Now, I said those words for a reason. Remember, your brain thinks in pictures. Your brain thinks in pictures. So faith, hope, and love. So when you see that, you see a nurturing, loving relationship. You see a positive event. So your mind is going to radiate that to your subconscious mind. So that is a beautiful thought to have. You're going to radiate that and you think about that. Okay? Now I'm going to go through another set of words. Hate, dislike, foolish. Hate, dislike, foolish. Hate, dislike, foolish. How do you feel? You don't feel good. It doesn't have a vibration. It doesn't have a picture of success. It doesn't ring with success. It rings with negativity. And you don't want to ring with negativity. You want to ring with success. Okay? So, how do you ring with success? Well, the first thing you want to do is study. It says, a workman studies himself approved. A workman studies himself approved. So if you want to be a master crafter of anything, you will study. So if you want to be a success, you will study a person whom you think is a success. And you will study what that person does. You probably check out books out of the library. You watch him till you get down the complete thing to who he is. I'll give you an example. There was a guy, I guess in the 70s. I don't know whether he may be alive, I don't know. But his name was Rich Little. And he was a comedian. And Mr. Little had the ability to imitate these presidents. I mean, very well. He did very well imitating them. And you can Google him and see what all he did and everything. Some people just study their craft and they know how to do it. Another person that studied their craft very well was Michael Jackson. All-time best superstar ever. Before him, it was James Brown. So those two right there, as far as I'm concerned, they paved the road to superstardom when it came down to success, because they were in a league all their own, in a lane all their own, moves and everything. So now people copy them. They pretty much copy them. Okay? So you don't want to be like everybody else. You want to do you. I'm not here trying to do anybody else on YouTube. I do me. I want to do me. I have a message just like they have a message. I can look at and see what they're doing for them to be successful. I can try different things to do like they do. But I still have something to give to you. We all have something to give to someone at some point in time. Now, I remember a long time ago, I used to read, and I still do read a lot. But in one of these books, it talked about this man. He would fly all over the world, running around, he was trying to like build his ministry, build his brand. He'd go all over the place. He would go all over the place. He'd get on the plane. Oh, So and so got this going on. I'm gonna get on this plane and go and see what they talking about. He get on the plane and do all of that. And guess what? He still wasn't no more closer to getting to his goal. But when he went to this particular mentor and he said, look, I've been trying to get this thing down and it won't work. The guy told him, listen, it's really simple. Lock yourself away. Lock yourself away in a room and meditate. Meditate. He said you can do it with Psalms 1. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate on it both day and night. And then, and only then, thou will have good success. Good success. So, my word for you today is to meditate. Meditate and you will find good success. Lock yourself away if that's what you need to do. Get out of town, go in a room by yourself, and contemplate. I told you how to contemplate. I told you how to visualize. Okay? You need to do those principles. Visualize and meditate. Visualize and meditate. And you can create your own reality 24/7. Thanks, guys.